War never changes. Even though Big Bird learned how to fly, he still is choosing to walk on the ground like his lads. And although it might look like Zinch, it's in fact just Warriors of Chaos, classic Warriors of Chaos versus High Elves matchup. I've got Big Bird leading the way, Star Thrill, the Everwatcher, new and improved, can fly, choosing to walk on the ground, has Barrier, also picked up Greater Arcane Conduit, which is fantastic. Still has Lore of Metal and Standard Die as well, which is quite a nice ability to have. He's not as good of a combatant even as the Exalted Lord of Change. He has the stats of a regular Lord of Change in terms of his attack, defense, and whatnot. And he also lost his missile and magic resistance, now having your standard kind of demon 20% physical resistance. As for the rest of my build, we've got some Marauder Horsemen skirmishing up front, a couple of 3 Javelins there, 2 Throwing Axes here, Poison Hounds and regular Warhounds, 2 Manticores up in the sky, Marauders on the ground, some Forsaken of Zinch, and the Weird Spawn, just to kind of play into the theme here. All 4 marks of Chaos for my build are being used on Zinchian units. For my opponent, again, the Star Dragon over here, he's got some Reaver Archers in support, and then nice little anti-large death box hidden in the woods. We've got Lariel the Radiant Noble, Life Mage, some Spearmen, and some Keepers of the Flame, the Regiment of Renown Phoenix Guard, a couple of Illyrian Reavers as well. And one thing to point out about High Elves, and I don't know, this item might end up getting nerfed in the future, but this right here, Starwood Staff, gives you a huge amount of extra Winds of Magic, especially when you combo it with the Book of Hoeth and with, you know, other Winds of Magic regeneration abilities to make the best use of it. You can get a ton of extra Winds of Magic, so my opponent's going to be trying to use that in tandem, obviously, with the healing spells. Alariel doesn't actually have any spells, just has the Star of Avalorn here, and then the Boon of Isha for magical attacks, immune to psychology, physical resistance. I would probably leave the Shield Stone of Isha at home against Zinch, considering how broadly they have magical attacks, but still. And obviously the Lore of Life is going to be the one casting the spells. He's got Flesh to Stone, interesting choice. Again, I don't know about the physical resistance, probably would just leave that at home, but Regrowth and Dwellers Below, main 2 things. So we've been doing some skirmishing already, just trying to pick away, and then I kind of discover his ground force here. I'm going to get a little aggressive with this Manticore initially and go for a snipe on Alariel. I'd really need to try and snipe those casters if I can, but without support here, this Manticore driving into a bunch of spears, and also looks like it might take a VTOL breath attack. Nope, breath attack instead goes over onto the Horsemen. Star of Avalorn also being dropped immediately on these Reaver Archers, which I don't know if I agree with that, but I'm going to go ahead and pop an Overcast Final Transmutation with its fancy new effect. Looks quite a bit more flashy. Still going to do a ton of damage in this pocket. The Lariel and the other mage do move out, although they've taken significant damage from the Manticore. Me losing that Manticore so early on is definitely going to hurt me. Originally in this build, I had planned to do Big Bird Double Shaggoth, which is another kind of classic Warhammer 2 Chaos build. But I had some Slaanesh units in there, you know, some of the cheap Slaanesh cavalry and some other stuff, and I decided, you know what, let's play into the Zinch theme. I'm going to switch them out to Manticores, give me the funds to bring the Weird Spawn and the Forsaken of Zinch, but right now I am definitely wishing that I had just kept the Shaggoth so I could challenge this Star Dragon very heavily and also continuously pressure these casters on the ground. And, you know, the Slaanesh cavalry obviously would have been great for taking out all this light Elven cavalry. That being said, doing a pretty decent job. Most of the Reavers have been dealt with, although their leadership is going to allow them to come back. Because we're fighting relatively close to the edge of the map here, though, all the Star Dragons got to do is charge down, terrify away my hounds, and they're probably all just going to exit the battlefield immediately. Also got to get my throwing axes and javelins back in the fight here soon as well, but Regrowth already being popped on the Star Dragon. There's still plenty of those available. We're going to snipe any characters that get isolated, so like this Noble here gets away from supporting units. We're going to dive in with the Manticore and Big Bird immediately. Nice new glowing Big Bird. Also going to drop some Searing Doom over there on those Phoenix Guard. The Regiment of Renown Phoenix Guard are definitely going to be a tough nut for me to crack. The Forsaken of Zinch don't really have the armor piercing. They definitely have good enough offensive stats. They'll make some contact, but 62 melee defense on those guys with their martial prowess active. And like I said, it's just a quick tear out from the Star Dragon, and all my Poison Hounds are chased off the battlefield. So pretty painful experience there. But we're also able to break the Noble pretty decisively here. Tear out on him from Big Bird. Big Bird nicely has armor-piercing damage now, like actual proper armor-piercing damage. But I'm a little bit scared about how I'm going to deal with the Star Dragon. I'm keeping the weird spawn back. Don't really mind taking barrier damage at all here. But as long as I don't take real HP damage, that's totally fine. Another Forsaken of Tzeentch also going to maneuver in here. Excuse me, just a moment. Try and get on those Keepers of the Flame. Another Star of Avalon gets popped here, though, to keep them in tip-top shape. I probably should have just let them chase the Forsaken away rather than charging in here with the Marauders right now, because I'm actually going to keep them on the area of effect there. Maybe could have pulled them out of the area of effect of the Star, but regardless, everything's just fine. Gonna come in here, get a full surround with my Marauder Horsemen, maybe try and throw some jabs in there. I've got the Manticore and Big Bird both coming back over, start to cycle charge to this little blob here, so let's get in close. Forsaken of Tzeentch saturating into the Keepers of the Flame here. Star Dragon fights amongst the trees. Keepers of the Flame, of course, explode into flames when they die, hence why they're called that. And the Tzeentch spawn also going to come in here. The weird spawn doing a little bit of armor sundering. That physical resistance isn't going to matter at all. I mean, I guess it helps against the Marauders, but both the Forsaken of Tzeentch and the weird spawn now have magic damage. Doesn't help at all in those situations. Manticore comes down, though, is going to get in here, try and take out Alariel. I was really kicking myself right now for throwing away that other Manticore earlier. If I still had it at this late stage of the battle, I could have perhaps sniped Alariel, but more importantly, this here is even a mistake to dive the Manticore right here, because look at this mage. It's isolated away. Maybe could have got it in a surround with the weird spawn and then sniped it with the Manticore, and getting rid of my opponent's healing going to be super important. The Star Dragon's not quite at its healing cap yet, and I really don't want it to get to its healing cap, because then I'm going to probably run out of resources, but we'll see. Right now, I'm just focused on pressuring away these Illyrian Reaver archers, even though they're almost out of ammunition anyway. But Manticore staying close, trying to avoid getting killed by the Star Dragon, but actually gets enraged straight into the Star Dragon. Another regrowth also going to be popped on the Keepers of the Flame. I'm going to come in here with another Final Chance Mutation. Unfortunately, I casted it on the ground where I should have, again, another mistake from me here. I should have casted it on the Life Mage here, as she is the one with the actual spells. So here come the weird spawn. We're going to try and get in here, and still I have an opportunity to try and snipe these casters if I can. But looks like Flesh to Stone there on the Star Dragon. Physical resistance will definitely help against the Manticore, so nice play there. And then Sarthurel, the Everwatcher. I mean, I guess I was talking about Tzeentch. Just in general, Tzeentch units, and I would say Warriors of Chaos have always had pretty good access to magic damage. That's definitely even broader access to magic damage now, given they can take actual Tzeentch units. But anyway, Big Bird trying to avoid taking, again, real HP damage. If I can just keep regenerating the barrier as much as possible, that will be a great way to use him. Nice little rear charge here into those spearmen, hoping for a tear route, but Elven leadership is too strong. We'll get in close for some more cinematic shots as Alariel makes her stand here in the woods. Weird spawn piling in, trying their best to just get a route. And now is when I should probably also activate flying mode on Sarthurel, try and get up in the air so he can regenerate his barrier. But honestly, operating him on the ground, I haven't had any issues with so far, so might as well keep doing it right. Nice little bombardment there. And we've almost got the Life Mage broken here. If we can get the Life Mage terrified away, she's going to throw down Dwellers below, though, and it looks like she gets the cast off before she gets routed, just barely, like super, super close. And that is going to finish off my Forsaken and my Marauders and whatnot. The weird spawn also taking a ton of damage here. I really need to get Big Bird out and away. And yeah, if I could finish off this this Life Mage here, although it looks like the damage has pretty much been done already. That Star Dragon is more or less at its healing cap. So even if I do snipe the Life Mage at this point, Star Dragon's gotten so much healing, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to finish it off. Watch the weird spawn as they fight against the Star Dragon. Definitely an engagement I've seen before in Total War Warhammer, but not in this new lighting effect with the all the new stuff. It is a new age of warfare, I must say. The war never changes, but sometimes it does a little bit. Barrier regenerating here for Sarthurel. Not a lot. I mean, his barrier is somewhat depleted as his HP is low, only about 400 extra HP from barrier, but still, that puts him back over 4,000 total, which is nice. It's a nice charge in here. We can finish off Alaria's leadership, perhaps. Perhaps I can actually win the battle, but look at that. Still failing to finish off that life mage. Another regrowth, really, truly heal capping the Star Dragon, and that is going to be way too much for me to try and finish. Big Bird definitely, is that a matched animation? That looked like a little bit of a matched animation right there. Hard to tell, but yeah, compounding mistakes by me. I mean, I guess I'm just playing too polite and not aggressively sniping that heal caster especially, but there was a few opportunities that I had, and had I been able to do so, I mean, the Star Dragon did get heal capped, so without those heals, we would have been able to finish it off, and the battle would have been mine. But great game to my opponent there. He had some excellent plays in order to respond to my mistakes and capitalize on them. Don't want to take anything away from him, certainly. Did a great job here, but I would say that I made some pretty serious errors, and clear in hindsight, it's kind of hard to tell in the midst of the battle, and you know, egregious Lord sniping is not my typical play style, so I guess not Lord sniping necessarily, but just having the awareness to say, okay, healer is the priority target. Like, yes, the Star Dragon's a priority target, but more so the healer, because without healer, the Star Dragon's going to be significantly weaker. But anyway, very close game, very well played by my opponent there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching that one. Sarthrel, powerful as ever, in fact more powerful than ever with his barrier, greater arcane conduit, almost 5,000 damage value here. He is going to be a menace for Warriors of Chaos. I mean, people are kind of sleeping on him, I think, because of, you know, new Archaon, all the new lords announced with the Champions of Chaos DLC. Sigvald's been reworked, you know, Kolek's still around as well. But don't sleep on Sarthrel. For, don't know if he's going to be great for Tzeentch, but for Warriors of Chaos, he offers you something that you don't get in a lot of other places. A powerful, potentially flying lord, caster lord with barrier and lore of metal, and I think he might be the only one with greater arcane conduit that you have access to. Don't quote me on that, but anyway, very cool, very strong. The rest of my build here, I misused the one-man score pretty badly, and it definitely came back to bite me. Also, should have just stuck to my guns on the double Shaggoth build and not gone with the thematic fun build. That would have been maybe a little bit stronger, but still, I had the tools I needed to win here and just kind of misused them. Credit my opponent. Interesting build here, too. 141 kills, great value on the Dwellers from the Mage of Life. I almost think you probably just swap out this Noble Chariot, take a second Mage with no spells, and both of those magic regeneration items also on a Chariot. Can still get some good anti-infantry damage because of the Chariot, but again, just that much more extra winds of magic, and you get, what, another at least 1 or 2 Dwellers, perhaps? I think, depending on how much that item gives you. Anyway, Star Dragon also gets a ridiculous amount of value. Keepers of the Flame almost pay for themselves. Very interesting there. Reaver Archers tend to be pretty cost-effective, too, if used correctly. The regular Reavers get pounded out, as do the Spears, but it's a very interesting battle. I feel like I learned a few things here. Number one, about High Elves' Winds of Magic regeneration and how powerful that can be. Number two, you know, target priority, just reminding myself, kill the healer first. I mean, that's, every gamer should know that, but definitely reminding myself of that. I also learned, I mean, Sarthrel's disgustingly powerful, potentially. Definitely needs some more investigation, but hopefully you guys enjoyed watching that one. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.